afternoon everyone, I am Kathleen B. Pasapas from BSc 2A, and for today's video, I will be discussing or I will be tackling about the different classifications of fingerprints. But before that, let me first define what is fingerprint classification. Fingerprints classifications refers to the formula that is derived for a complete set of 10 fingerprints and or the arrangement of fingerprint records into groups or subgroups for filing purposes. Fingerprint classifications composes of 6 divisions wherein it is a primary division, secondary division, sub-secondary division, final division, major division, and lastly the key division. First is a primary division. This classification was given by Sir Edward Richard Henry, wherein it is also known as a 10-digit classification that is commonly used in maintaining the records of each and every criminal. In primary division, you only have 5 things to remember. First, memorize the pairing of the fingers as well as their values. Number 2, only whorl patterns have values. Number 3, summation of numerical values assigned to whorl patterns. Number 4, even numbers are numerator and odd numbers are denominator. Number 5, do not forget the pre-established fraction of 1 over 1. Numerical values. Your finger number 1 and 2 are pair number 1 with a value of 16. Your finger number 3 and 4 are pair number 2 with a value of 8. Your finger number 5 and 6 are pair number 3 with a value of 4. Your finger number 7 and 8 are pair number 4 with a value of 2. Your finger number 9 and 10 are pair number 5 with a value of 1.
Since this is a primary classifications, you need to look for a whorl pattern because it has a value. And by looking at the chart that I have made, I just wrote its acronym because this way is easier. As what you have seen in the chart, in finger number 1 we have a radial loop, in finger number 2 we had a plain whorl, in finger number 3 we have an ulnar loop, in finger number 4 we have a tainted arc, in finger number 5 we have a radial loop, in finger number 6 we had an ulnar loop, in finger number 7 we have a double loop whorl, in finger number 8 we have a radial loop, in finger number 9 we had a plain whorl, in finger number 10 we have a plain arc. Since this is a primary classifications, that's why we need to look for a whorl pattern. In finger number 1, we have here a radial loop. Since loop doesn't have a value, so we need to put 0 here in the denominator. In finger number 2, we have a plain whorl, and whorl has a value. In pair number 1, it's in the rule that in pair number 1, which is the finger number 1 and 2, has a value of 16. So we need, since it is a whorl, so we need to put here 16 since it is in pair number 1. And it's in the numerator since it is an even number. And in finger number 3, we have an ulnar loop. So it is a loop, so it doesn't have a value. So we need to put 0 in the denominator. And on the 4th finger, we have a tainted arc. Number 4, we have a tainted arc. And it doesn't have a value, so we need to put 0 in the numerator. And in finger number 5, we have a radial loop. Since it is a loop, so we need to put 0 in the denominator. In finger number 6, it is an ulnar loop, so it doesn't have a value. So we need to put 0 in the numerator. And in finger number 7, we have a double loop whorl. And it has a value since it is in the pair number 4 and it is an odd number. So we need to put it here. Zero, 2 here. 8, we have here a radial loop. Since it is a loop, so it doesn't have a value. So we need to put 0 here in the numerator. And in finger number 9, it is a plain whorl, so it has a value. And since it is in finger number 9, and according to the numerical values, finger number 9 and 10 are pair number 5 with a value of 1. So I have to put 1 in the denominator. And lastly, In finger number 10, we have here a plain arc. And plain arc doesn't have a value, so I have to put 0 in the numerator. According to 5 story member, specifically in number 3, stated that summation of numerical values assigned to world patterns. So we have to add the numbers in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So we need to add everything here in the numerator. Okay, 16 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is equals to 16. And here, we had to add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. Since it is in rule number 5 that we should not forget the pre-established fraction of 1 over 1. So, we have to add 1 over 1. So, 16 plus 1 is equals to 17. And 3 plus 1 is equals to 4. So we have 17 over 4 in the primary classification.
Second is a secondary division. It is a subdivides large group of classifications of fingerprints. Herein are the patterns which appears only on index fingers of both right and left hand are considered. It consists of capital letter symbols for patterns of 2 index fingers. In addition, the right index finger symbol should be taken at numerator and the left one at the denominator. So here are the letters as a corresponding symbol to the pattern of your index finger. In plain arc, we have letter A. In tented arc, we have letter T. In radial loop, we have letter P. In ulnar loop, we have letter U. In plain whorl, we have W. In central pocket loop whorl, we have letter C. In double loop whorl, we have letter D. And in accidental whorl, we have letter X. In small letter, the patterns that are included are the mnemonics of Rat, which means radial loop, plain arc, and tinted arc. In secondary classification, your right index finger will serve as your numerator and the left index finger will serve as your denominator. Since your right index finger is plain whorl, that's why I put capital letter W here in the numerator, and your left index finger is double loop whorl, so I have to put letter D in the capital letter D in the denominator. After that, let's go to the thumb, middle, ring, and little fingers. In finger number 1, we have a radial loop, so it belongs to the mnemonics Rat, so we have to put small letter R here. On the third finger, we have an ulnar loop, so since it doesn't belong to the mnemonics Rat, so we just leave it there blank. Next, in finger number 4, we have tainted arc. Since it belongs to the mnemonics Rat, so we have to put small letter T here. And in finger number 5, we have a radial loop, so it also belongs to the Rat mnemonics. So we have to put small letter R here. After that, let's move on to the left fingers, wherein it serves as the denominator. So let's begin with the finger number 6. Since it is an ulnar loop, so it doesn't belong to the mnemonics Rat, so we just leave it there blank. Next is the radial loop. Since it belongs to the mnemonics Rat, so we have to put small letter R here beside the capital letter D. Next, in finger number 9, we have plain whorl. Since it doesn't belong to the mnemonics Rat, so we just leave it there blank. Next, in finger number 10, we have a plain arc. Since it belongs to the mnemonics Rat, so we have to put small letter A here. So, we just completed the secondary classification. Third is a sub-secondary division, wherein it is done by ridge counting of the loops and ridge tracing of the whorls appearing in the index, middle, and ring finger of both left and right hand. In sub-secondary classification, here you just have to know the IMO system, or the inner, meeting, and outer. It would be easier for you to understand when you can memorize the inner of the index, middle, and ring finger. Because when you can memorize the inner, automatically you will know the outer of the said finger. For example, in index finger, the inner fingers is 1 to 9, so automatically 10 or more will be the outer. In middle finger, the inner would be 1 to 10, so automatically 11 or more, it will be the outer. And lastly, in ring finger, the inner is 1 to 13, so automatically 14 or more becomes the outer.
So here is the subsecondary classification chart. We just have to focus on the index, middle, and ring finger of the left and right hand. Right side of our hands, we have here in index finger, we have here a plain whorl that has 3 intervening ridge below. So automatically, it will be outer. We have here outer. Next, in middle finger, we have here ulnar loop that has 18 ridge count. So automatically, according to the middle finger, the inner should be 1 to 10. So in ulnar loop, it has 18. So automatically, it will become outer. Next is tinted arc. And it doesn't have a value, so automatically you will put dash here. On the left side of our hands, specifically in the index finger, we have here double loop whorl that has 2 intervening ridge. So since it is 2, we don't have to specify if it is above or below, since it is automatically omitting. Is the middle finger, which is a radial loop that has 16 ridge count. So according to the middle finger, the inner would be 1 to 10. So automatically 16 is outer. So we have to put letter O here beside the capital letter M. Next is the ring finger, which is a plain whorl that has 5 intervening ridge. So since according to the ring finger, the inner is 1 to 13, so automatically 5 is inner. So we have to put capital letter I beside the letter O. And that completes the sub-secondary classification.
Fourth is a final division, wherein it is done by ridge counting of loops and whorls from 2 little fingers. In this division, whorls are ridge counted and not ridge traced. In final division, we will ridge count the loops and whorls from the 2 little fingers instead of ridge tracing. It is somehow complicated because accordingly, plain whorl and central pocket loop whorl shall be treated as ulnar loop from the hand of origin, which means that when it is in your left hand, you will use a right delta, and if it is in your right hand, you will use a left delta. Next, a double loop whorl is ridge counted to an upright loop, and lastly, an accidental whorl will be ridge counted in all but the least ridge count will be used.
So let's try final classification. Since it is a final classification, we just have to focus on our 2 little fingers. So from the right side of your little finger, which is here, it has a radial loop that has 10 ridge count. So since we are looking for a ridge count, we will put 10 into the numerator. And on the left side of our little finger, we will see a plain arc. Since it is a plain arc, which means it doesn't have a value. That's why we just have to leave the denominator blank, or we can just put dash in the denominator. And this completes the final division.
Fifth is a major division. Major division is similar to sub-secondary division, though it applies only to the thumbs, and ridge counting has been modified. In major division, it focuses on the thumbs only, but there is a modification in ridge counting. The word modification in ridge counting means having table A and table B. A while ago, in sub-secondary classification, it only has inner and outer, whereas in major division, it has a classification of small, medium, and large. In table A, we have here small. It has 1 to 11. The medium is 12 to 16. The large is 17 or more. While in table B, the small has 1 to 17. In medium, we have here 18 to 22. And the large has 23 or more. In order for you to easily identify the following, you just have to memorize the medium classification, because when you know the value of medium, you will automatically know the value of small and large.
So let's try the major classifications. Take note that in major classification, we only have to focus on the thumbs only, on the left and right thumb. On the right side of our thumb, we have here a radial loop that has 22 ridge count, wherein accordingly, the large classification has 17 or more. Therefore, 22 ridge count belongs to the large classification in Table A. Therefore, we have to put capital letter L in the numerator. On the left side of our thumb, we have here an ulnar loop that has 15 ridge count. And accordingly, medium has 12 to 16. That's why we have to put capital letter M in the denominator, for number 15 belongs to the medium classification. Another example, but this time I will be using the table B. On the right side of our thumb, we have here a radial loop that has 22 ridge count, and accordingly, 18 to 22 belongs to a medium classification. Therefore, radial loop in our right finger belongs to a medium classification. That's why we have to put capital letter M in the numerator. Left side of our thumb, we have here an ulnar loop that has 15 ridge count, and accordingly, 1 to 17 belongs to a small classification. Therefore, our left thumb or ulnar loop belongs to a small classification. That's why I have put a capital letter S in the denominator. And that completes the major classification.
And lastly is the key classifications, wherein it is derived by getting the ridge count of the first loop formation appearing in the 10 fingers except the 2 little fingers. Key division is unique among the classifications because it doesn't have a denominator, which means it only has a numerator. You can have a key division by getting the ridge count of the first loop formation. In addition, you can get the key division in any of the following fingers except the 2 little fingers. Unlike the final division, in which it focuses only into the 2 little fingers, in key division you have to disregard the 2 little fingers.
So, we will try a key division in this example. We have to look for the first loop formation. So, since our first finger is a radial loop, we have to get its ridge count, which is 22, and write it in the numerator without a denominator. So this completes our key classifications.
So that's it. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Thanks for watching. Bye!